This is more about living in the time of the coronavirus epidemic. Kenosha is still there, smoldering, but now we've got hurricanes, 2 of them, and tornadoes, storm surges, flooding, and torrential rain. And of course we still have the CoVid epidemic, the failing economy, the massive unemployment, opioid addiction, and with the upcoming elections, a severe case of democracy. What a year this is. Good old 0 CE. And I am Samuel Pepys, right in the middle, or maybe not, of it. I have said before, and sometimes even to children who have a right to know what's going on, to the extent that it can be known, that we are living in a gigantic, man-made clusterfuck. And without question, there is now even greater cluster, and it's a lot more fucked than ever before. I think we are very close to living in a supernova clusterfuck. I know it sounds like a big party, but it really is terrible trouble. Maybe more trouble than we can handle. I made it a point to watch the trumpet's acceptance speech. Troubles? Bah. He can handle it. He spoke to an audience seated on the south lawn of the White House, along with a full battalion of American flags. So many flags. He was, of course, supremely confident, boastful, and he was very caustic as he mocked the dummy craps for all the nutty things they believe. I agree with many of the things he says, but I part with him when it comes to the belligerence and antagonism that shadow his every word. I do agree with his spirited defense of the American character, but he would never acknowledge that the people who created this nation did so at the expense of others, callously pushed them aside. Prosperity has a price, just as freedom does, and that price can be steep, and the cause of suffering in others. Socialism may be a wretched system, but capitalism is no unalloyed joy. He brushes over this, or completely ignores it. In his view, there are winners and losers. The winners get to celebrate, the losers have no say. So it's a great world for the winners, and a very bitter one for the rest. And that is why they revile him. They are estimating that 900,000 people have lost power so far as a result of Hurricane Laura. That is hurricane crazy. Meanwhile, more sports teams are refusing to play in protest over the Jacob Blake shooting. The protest is completely symbolic. They sit out one game. They resume play. Later they'll make the game up. So it costs them nothing, yet the athletes are praised for their principled stand. The scary thing about the trumpet is his firm conviction that he is right, and those who disagree with him are wrong. I don't think it's that clear cut, and those who do, they are scary to me. Radicals always think that they are right. The trumpet, in his way, is something of a radical. He loves to compare himself to that political whore of 47 years, the Pander Man. More and more sports teams are getting politicized. Pro athletes have now become the social activists, the social conscience of the nation, stealing that thunder from the Hollywood crowd. This makes them feel rather noble and puts them in the model role, the one that they used to avoid, if possible. Now they embrace it. Now they stand proudly as ambassadors for the black race. A mostly black high school football team knelt last night during the national anthem, and their parents in the stands sat down. It's such a terrible country. The pro players are seen as heroes. They are not fined. No punishment is threatened. Far from it. Everyone is on their side. Who is going to say, you know what? I'm in favor of police brutality and systemic racism as well. So this is something they all want to be a part of. Colin Kaepernick was pretty lonely out there, kneeling on the sidelines. He's got a lot of company now. Thank goodness everyone is not in lockstep. One of the players on this city's football team spoke up and said that he was not in favor of a one-day stoppage of practice to show support for those shot by police. He said, I don't understand what taking a day off is going to accomplish. I don't want to be a part of that. Nevertheless, the great beacon of hope and equality is lifted high by pro athletes. I heard that former President Obama got word to LeBron James that he thought it was best if LeBron went ahead and continued to play, while also making it clear where he stood as a black man. I would say that LeBron stands pretty much wherever LeBron wants to stand. He's immensely wealthy, still in his prime, admired by millions, and currently playing on a team that could win it all. Winners! But it's still a terrible country, right?